from at Colton Mason 86. If Drew Brees continues to show he's not what he once was, what week, if any, would they make a change, and who would get the start? I don't know how long Sean Payton can keep his Steve Young on the bench. Charean, it seems premature to have the conversation. I don't know, though. I mean, there are people who are having the conversation. There are people who are asking the questions. Have you developed any feel, any gut sense as to whether or not we could actually see Drew Brees get yanked off the field before he's ready to retire?
You know, I think Sean Payton's brilliant. I got to know him when he was in Dallas as the offensive coordinator under Bill Parcells, and he always seems to find a way to do things, I don't want to say the right way, but, you know, you have to do this gracefully. You can't just go sit. It was almost like the Eli situation, but even more so, because Drew Brees is the all-time leading passer in so many categories, and you can't just go say, we're going to sit you down, Drew Brees. I mean, it just can't be done like that. But Sean Payton has managed to use multiple quarterbacks over the last few years, and he is one of the most creative offensive geniuses in the game. I just think he's going to find some way when they need to throw the ball down the field. It is no secret. I don't care what Drew Brees says. It is no secret he cannot throw the ball down the field. We've seen it over the last couple of years. We've talked about it a lot. His longest pass the other night was 29 yards, and it was a catch and run by Traquan Smith. He has 4.82 air yards after 2 games. That is the lowest of any quarterback since Brett Favre in 2009. He is not getting the ball down the field. They have to find some way to do that. I know Michael Thomas wasn't there. I know that hurt that offense, but he can't get the ball down the field. It's just a fact.
There was a throw against the Buccaneers, and it was only one, but it shows he's got the capacity. He did get the ball down the field. I think it was like 40 yards in the air. So, you know, every once in a while he can uncork one. The question is, can he do it reliably? Can he do it consistently? Can he have accuracy if he's muscling it as far as he possibly can? And for the most part, that offense is premised on quick timing, short passes, swing passes, screen passes, crossers that aren't going to be in the air for very long. And he runs that offense very effectively. The problem the other night was when it was 17-7, it just felt like the Saints were ready to put the hammer down. And the next thing you know, it was going to be 31-7, like we've seen so many times in the past, where we turn off the game at halftime or only barely pay attention to it because it's another example of a Saints team that just suffocates the opponent because the offensive efficiency is too relentless for the other team's offense to keep up with. Now, in this case, the Saints defense didn't hold up its end of the bargain, but the offense lost its footing and never could really get back to the point where they were moving the ball efficiently and scoring points. They had plenty of yards, but they couldn't cash in. And that's what was so vexing. And I see the Saints are a 3-point favorite on Sunday night. And frankly, and again, not to tip too many of my picks for this week, because in the event that Sims finds out about this, he may factor it into his picks for tomorrow. I'm surprised the Saints are 3-point favorites. When you look at what the Packers have done so far this year, and when you look at what the Saints have done or have not done so far this year, and I think there's a chance it could get, I don't want to say ugly on Sunday night, but there's a chance it could be lopsided. And there's a chance that the narrative will be more prevalent come Monday when we see on the same field, on the same night, Aaron Rodgers and Drew Brees. And Aaron Rodgers is still going to be doing Aaron Rodgers things, and Drew Brees' limitations are going to be put on display for everyone. And the question is, what would Sean Payton ever do about it? You know, there was the report that came out on the first day of the season, one of the many Sunday splash reports, Charean, suggesting that the Saints had interest in Tom Brady even after Drew Brees said he was coming back. And you just wonder at what level there's something percolating and how Sean Payton would handle it. I don't think Sean Payton would ever bench Drew Brees. I think Sean Payton would go to Drew Brees and convince him he has an injury, right, to help him save some face so he wouldn't be yanked off the field for Taysom Hill. But, you know, if it goes poorly on Sunday night and then they stumble into their bye week, they've got Lions in Detroit and the Chargers at home on a Monday night before they go into their bye. I think that if they don't turn around their offense from what we saw Monday night, and they struggle offensively the next 3 games, we may find out during the bye week that there's some sort of injury to Drew Brees and that Taysom Hill's getting the start on the other end.
Can you see them, though, Mike, playing multiple quarterbacks, whether it's a combination of the three quarterbacks or Taysom Hill takes more snaps and throws more? I mean, you cited one deep throw in 2 weeks. That's not enough in 2 games. Can you see them playing multiple quarterbacks more than what they've done so far? Because they have kept Taysom Hill in bubble wrap so far.
Well, I remember when we had Drew Brees with us at the Super Bowl, and we talked about the possibility of Hill returning and getting more of a workload because we had seen him do so many special things in the playoff loss to the Vikings. And Drew Brees said, hey, I'm fine with it. However many plays that. Now, it's one thing to say it in January. It's another thing to be okay with it come September. And we've seen Taysom Hill used less frequently. And the thing is, look, these guys are paying attention. Everything that's said publicly about Drew Brees not having the deep ball, every time they let Taysom Hill throw a deep ball, that is the proverbial needle in the lung to Drew Brees. He doesn't want to see that. He doesn't want to be disrespected. So I think that's part of it. And he's earned that respect, right? I don't fault him for being potentially prickly about the idea that he's being nudged off of the field. Because he could say to the Saints, why didn't you just tell me in the offseason you didn't want me? Why didn't you just tell me it was over then, instead of bringing me back and not letting me be the quarterback of the team? So I think it's a delicate situation. You're right, though. I think Sean Payton will handle it the right way. But if this offense doesn't turn it around, they're going to have some decisions to make if they want to truly be a contender this season, Charean.
Yeah, no question about it, Mike. And that offense needs to play better. They had that interception right before halftime that really killed them, and they just couldn't respond in the second half. So as great as Drew Brees says he feels, he needs to play great this week for the Saints to have a chance and to turn this thing around and be the team that we all thought they could be, because we picked them as the first or second best team in the NFC going into the year. I think everybody would have said that.
At Maximum Overdrive, right now, who has the best chance of getting the first pick in the draft? Do you think that by the end of the season that team will be in search of a quarterback, and are they capable of surrounding him with the necessary talent? Your thoughts, Charean?
It's so early, and there's so many contenders, but I think you have to go with the Jets at this point. 32nd in offense, 19th in defense. I wish the Jets and Giants played, because I'd like to see that matchup for perhaps the number 1 overall pick. Now, you go back to the Cardinals and what they did. They drafted Josh Rosen with the 10th overall pick, and then the next year they had the number 1 overall pick, and they said, forget that. We don't care. We're going to cut our losses. We're going to trade Josh Rosen for whatever we can get for him. We love Kyler Murray. He's our guy. We're going to draft him. And you could see the Jets doing a similar thing. Now, Sam Darnold's had more time, but I could very well see the Jets going, we have the number 1 pick. We have these multiple picks. We can build a really good team here. If Sam Darnold doesn't develop as they think he will this year, I could very well see them going out and get Trevor Lawrence.
Hey, you know what? I'm already looking at a team like the Vikings when they're on scholarship this year and everyone's got their financial security. Now they'd have to get rid of Kirk Cousins, and I wrote earlier today that but for maybe a trade to the 49ers, they're going to be stuck with a ton of money on the books for 2021 and 2022. But once a team falls out of contention, it pays off to be as bad as you can be, because it gives you the highest possible draft position, and somebody's getting Trevor Lawrence, and it's going to be one of these bad teams. All right, one more question. Speaking of the Vikings, T-Lions 122. Why do our Vikings continue to be the Toby Flenderson of NFL teams? I don't think they're the Toby Flenderson. I had a chance to consider this. I think they're the Jim Halpert. Here's why. Because Jim Halpert is a screw-off. He doesn't get his work done. He's always looking into something, but he always does just enough to not get fired. And so he follows every good day with a bad day. He makes his big sale, and then he goes and he does something he shouldn't do. And then he comes back and he makes a sale. And that's what the Vikings are. They ping pong between good year and bad year. So they've got this sweet spot they've found where they've got job security for everyone, but they're never going to be as good as they can be.
29th in total offense, 29th in total defense. I don't know if there's been a worse team in the NFL. I guess you look at the teams that they've played, but they have not been good, and certainly are a contender for that number 1 overall pick right now.
I say go for it. Once you know you're out, go for it. Get Trevor Lawrence. You have your quarterback situation taken care of for the next 15 years. And embrace being bad, because it can lead potentially to good things.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.